Hello! So today we're going to read chapter 6 of my debut novel, Eidolons. And if you're watching this, this is chapter 6. Presumably you've watched chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before this. Thank you. This is my dream. I've been writing... oh god, real talk. Teary eyes. I'm not used to this. I've been writing stories since I was this big. This 2 o'clock, I guess, is noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I've been writing stories since I was that big. My first story I wrote, or my first novel I wrote 7th grade, maybe 8th grade. Finished it, but my first stories involved the Silver Surfer mixed with the Human Torch, and it was very it was plagiarism, I guess. I was a kid, and I didn't win because it was this kind of school contest thing where they gave you this hardcover journal book thing that you wrote in and you drew pictures, and it was just to kind of encourage everyone to start writing and drawing and being creative. And I was very proud of myself even back then, that when they brought us all into the gymnasium and we sat on the wooden bleachers, that I was sitting in the stands thinking I'm gonna win, not really thinking about why there were already 3 kids sitting next to the teachers and principal up on stage, who, one for each grade, that had already won, which obviously their parents helped them. I don't know, probably, maybe. I'm sure my parents helped me. But yeah, I've been writing since 2nd grade, I guess that was, and I've had times that I've taken off. I don't think I really wrote much until middle school, when we had a narrative project that I told you about, my novel with Carrot, and there was also a guy named Hawk, and there was a hedgehog because I had just played Sonic Battle Adventure 2 with Shadow, but the hedgehog wasn't named Shadow. But I really like that game, and I still really like that game. But yeah, I've been writing since then, and I haven't really stopped, and this is the first time I'm going to be published in more than just a magazine, a full novel that I'm making it happen myself, self-publishing. Not a lot of expectations for financial success. I'd have to sell about 1,000 copies to break even, and only about 5% of all books ever sell more than 5,000 copies. But I have plans, I have marketing, I'm doing everything I can to get the book to the largest amount of people, who are more than just my friends and family, who will tell me it's good, even if they don't. They'll tell me it's 5 stars, even if they actually think it's a 3-star, which I know some of you will do. And you might even go back later on your review and be like, it's been enough years and I haven't talked to this guy in forever. I'm going to mark it down to 3. But if you buy it, even if you're just listening, even if you pirate it, if you just read it, I really appreciate that. And I am doing this in a single take, despite my not practicing it at all, because it's good to be genuine, right? The reading, I will do multiple takes, so you don't have to see me stumbling over myself. But enough looking at that. If you want more information, you can come to orangepeels.com. Orange Peels, Peels is spelled with an A instead of 2 E's, because it's a joke I found funny enough to make a website on, even though it's my personal website. Here's the joke. Bam! It's an orange peeling out. But yeah, there's not much there, and eventually there will be more. There will be a whole about section. There are some short stories. There will be a blog about my time in Yosu in Korea, as well as a blog about all the little updates that I'm doing on the book. And there's also going to be a mailing list that will push you to the website. And if you join the mailing list, it'll also give you, cut content, exclusive looks at things, previews, more previews, shiny new chapters, the book cover whenever that happens, announcements about the editor, all that. You don't have to sign up for the mailing list. It's not ready yet. It will be someday. Hopefully in the next month or two. It's just a busy month at the moment. And I'm also thinking of some other things for the website that I'm not ready to announce yet. There's little teases on the website. And the design is a big part of it too. You don't want it to look ugly. My initial website looked very ugly and was completely unreadable because the text was too light. It was sans serif, and there was just tons of it, and sans serif is hard to read when there's lots of it online, etc. But yeah, so if you want to know about pre-orders and everything, I suggest signing up for that mailing list. I can't do pre-orders until about October or November even, 2016. So that's like a whole year from now. That's just how Amazon does it for indie writers. And yeah, so I really appreciate you listening to me babble and talk about pig sex and everything else I've embarrassed myself with. Singing. I've sung some of this. Real talk. Okay, let's go to the reading. This is going to be Chapter 6. This is the final chapter of the previews, and this is where we start to get into the plotty stuff, TK's a hard character to get into the plot, so it's taken 6 chapters. About 10,000 words? I don't know if it's actually 10,000. Probably less. Yeah. Let's go. Chapter 6. Navigating the town by air was more difficult than on the street. Everyone's roof looked the same. Chimneys didn't stand out like front doors. And when I lowered myself to the streets, cars whizzed through me as I dove for pavement, a license plate scalping my forehead. Instincts were hard to ignore. I found Red's U-shaped duplex after half an hour in cul-de-sacs, before remembering she didn't live in a cul-de-sac. She lived behind my dad. I hadn't been there in ages. First, I poked into her bathroom. There was a puddle on the tile, a sink drain clogged with hair, and a wet towel on the shower curtain rod. The toilet needed flushing too. Then I sneaked into the bedroom. Clothes were everywhere, and a crummy pie tray was on the floor with a slop of week-old whipped cream, slightly fuzzed. But she wasn't in there either. She was in the living room with a book in her lap, the TV muted, and the phone's radio app playing a commercial for the Party Tree's Halloween spectacle that was bound to outdo last year's, though they weren't set up until the end of the month. After counting the pages of the chapter, she gave up and upped the TV to outdo her phone's music. She set the book on the corduroy couch as a table for a bowl of soggy cornflakes, but when she rolled on her back, she balanced the bowl on her tummy to stretch her legs out. Her shins were bruised, toenails broken, and feet red and dry. It was a real dancer's body. Her red ponytail fell between the armrest and the end table. I could bet she hadn't heard yet. Dr. Radulesco might have been an uncaring robot bastard, but I'd known her for like 5 years. 9 years. She'd cry. She cried whenever sad music started on season finales and during reality TV. She cried at the national anthem of baseball games. She had better cry for me. The cell phone on the floor rang. It was time. She reached off the couch so one arm supported her, while the other lithely stretched for it. She was a hip-hop ballerina, used to unnatural contortions. Her arms were better defined than mine. I sat in the air with my legs folded. I leaned in. I couldn't hear the other person, but the corner of her lips definitely dipped. They must have been breaking to her gently. Too gently, even. But I wasn't in a rush. "I've got plans that night," she yelled. "I'm nearly 21. You can't keep making me babysit." "Fine." She flung the phone into the air, and it flipped and bounced off the cushion and onto the ground. The chair her mom always sat in had an impression deeper than a buttery popcorn bucket. She must have just left, or the seat had been permanently dented. I sat in that chair, tracking time by TV show credits. There were 3 marathons on: Law & Order, House Hunters, and Project Runway. She was not as invested in the murder mystery as me, and switched away before they found key evidence that take this case all the way to the Supreme Court. The boredom of life transcended death. Anita stuck her head through the ceiling. "Are you staying here much longer?" "Nothing else to do," I said. I floated over the crummy carpet and to the fuzzball sleeping in the kennel. It was our sister's dog, Candy. The thing was brain damaged from bumping into table legs because it had so much fur crinkled, covering its eyes. "Can dogs see me?" "No." Anita was perched on the fridge with one foot swinging so the toe passed through a cabinet and the heel went through the fridge. "Who can?" "You want names?" She scoffed, then left through the ceiling. "Don't get sore about it." Sorry. I waited until it was dark out. The lock rattled, and I peeked through the wall to see if it was a burglar. Worse. It was a blimp of a woman with a plastic bag of potato chips, Nutella, Oreos, chocolate milk, and manganese supplements. Regular nutrition in this household. She twisted the key, then the knob, then shouldered the door, kicked it to get it unstuck from the overzealous weatherproofing, then finally Red opened it. "Calm down, would ya?" Her blanket was around her shoulders like a cape. Red's mom picked up the bag, and a glass jar of Nutella ripped through the bottom and cracked on the porch. Glass flecks bounced around, but mostly it was stuck together in a sharp shell about the dessert. "God bless it," she muttered. She shoved the bag into Red's chest and told her to put it away. "Did you do the laundry like I asked? I wanted it done this morning. It's dark out. Why isn't it done?" Red set the grocery on the table and dumped her bowl of warm milk and soggy cornflakes in the sink, not the garbage disposal. And she didn't rinse out the bits either. "What's got you so pissy?" "An accident's got traffic around the square clogged. It happened in the afternoon. Why is it still closed?" "You remember the neighbor boy, Tommy Carlisle?" "Oh, this was really it." I floated above the two to get a bird's eye view of the news, then abandoned it for a seat on the TV. "No one calls him Tommy, or Tom, or anything like that. It's TK," she scoffed. "Bless it," her mom said as she cut her finger on the broken jar. She sucked on it and spat out the blood into a dirty glass in the sink. "Yeah, well, he's the one that got hit, right in the middle of the square. I always said they needed to lower it to 10. 30 is just too fast for a public space. With a park and a playground in the middle, no less. What if it'd been a kid? I feel awful for Keith. His wife, now this." "What?" Jenna leapt off the couch and tripped over a blanket cape. She landed hard on the knee. The duplex shook. She clawed the carpet, pushed herself to her feet. I reached out to steady her as she wobbled, then jerked my hand away. "Is he okay?" "What? No, he's..." Oof. Red rammed her head into her mom's stomach. The white shirt soaked up the snot and tears and everything. "Don't cry, sweetie. It's okay. It's okay." She must have said it about 100 times before I left through the nearest wall. I went into the neighbor's half of the duplex, but it was empty. I walked a few blocks and stopped at an intersection because the signal said don't walk. Was it worth waiting around for? Anita asked, looming behind me. She guilted me into taking this deal. She just has to wait a few days. She'll be fine until then. Thanks for watching. Check out orangepeels.com, peels spelled Peals, for more information as it comes out. Bye.